This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, the moment of truth, that small 30-minute window that Kenny and I get to spend with you. Happy you decided to join us, and hopefully you will be too when you see what we have on this week's show.
That's right. Coming up, the program inspired by former First Lady Rosalynn Carter to help increase habitat for butterflies and how you at home can get involved. For over 40 years, this family-run business has provided ag goods and services to the people of Dalton, Georgia. John HOLCOMB profiles 41 Feed and Garden Center and how they continue to have success despite competition from the bigger box stores.
And then later, this gentleman is the definition of sustainability in the human form. He is OLEN Hill, and the things he can still do on the farm even amaze his family. OLEN's story and so much more start right now on the Farm Monitor. Well, former First Lady Rosalynn Carter, who recently celebrated her 95th birthday, has long been fascinated with nature and more specifically butterflies. After reading an article about their declining population, specifically monarch butterflies, Mrs. Carter decided to establish a butterfly trail that has now expanded nationwide. Damon Jones has the story.
Take a stroll through Plains and you'll notice plenty of tributes to the city's most well-known family, including a number of gardens that dot the entire area. It's a project started up by former First Lady Rosalynn Carter in response to the dwindling monarch butterfly population.
So I approached Miss Rosalynn and I said, what do you think about having a trail, and let's call it the Rosalynn Carter Butterfly Trail? And so we did. It first started in Plains with her garden, and we decided, since her garden was private, that we would have a roadside garden off of 280 so that it's open 24 hours a day and the public is invited to stop by and see that garden.
While they might be nice to look at, that isn't the main focus of these gardens, as each plant serves a specific purpose in cultivating the pollinator life cycle.
We do a lot of research. We look around, work with a lot of the different growers, what plants not only look good, but the ones that we actually want to attract and do what we need to do with the butterfly larva and everything like that. So it's not just run to Home Depot and pick up a bunch of flowers and run back and plant them. We actually look at having something blooming throughout the year, as well as habitat and food.
It's a project the city has really gotten behind, as the number of gardens in this small Southwest Georgia community has exploded over the past few years.
Believe it or not, this little town of Plains has 76 private and public gardens, and that's a lot of gardens for our small area. There are 16 that are open for the public that you can come enjoy. We have a lot of gardens on Main Street, so if you're in town and visiting, there are benches out there and really pretty gardens that you can watch the monarchs and other butterflies and pollinators that come in.
That's good news for the state's #1 industry, as these pollinators play a vital role in the development of a number of different crops.
Well, pollinators are critically important. We have to have them for a lot of our food crops, particularly in vegetables. Most importantly, things like the cucurbers, watermelons, cucumbers. We don't have a crop if we don't have pollinators, so they're absolutely critical to the production. But outside of that, we have to have them for other crops as well, not only crops, but tree crops, many flowers. So they provide habitat for, a lot of different species of things. So pollinators are critically important to our food supply.
And that's why everyone is encouraged to take part, as it not only provides plenty of fun, but also a sense of purpose.
I think the basic thing is you can be a part of something much bigger than yourself. That's the thing to look at, that we have such a problem with the monarchs. If you can go out and actually develop gardens and pots, you can plant flowers, you can do all of that, but you're not only enjoying it, you're teaching about nature, but you can actually help be a part of something bigger and help us save the monarch.
We're very excited about people wanting to be on the Rosalynn Carter Butterfly Trail. Is free to join. You just go to our website, rosalyncarterbutterflytrail.org, and all we ask is that you have nectar and host plants. It's expanded around Georgia. We have almost 1,700 gardens scattered around, and it's just by word of mouth, people wanting to make a difference.
Reporting from Sumter County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
providing quality feed, seed, and other agricultural products to those in their community. As John HOLCOMB tells us, that's been the goal of 41 Feed and Garden for almost 40 years now, as they help customers grow, plant, and take care of their farms, gardens, and yards.
As with any family-owned business, one day it's up to the next generation to continue the legacy. And for Adam Bramlett, the time has come as he's taken over the reins and now runs 41 Feed and Garden, a small feed, seed, and agricultural supply store his father started almost 40 years ago when he was just a toddler.
It's a family-owned business, and we started it when I was 4 years old, so I kind of grew up in it. Been here all my life, and you know, as I got older and learned more, more responsibility got handed over to me. You know, as I could do more, I did more. So we're kind of into the transition of now to where my father, who started the business in '83, he's taking more time off, and I'm, you know, kind of taking over at the wheel at it.
According to Bramlett, at times, running a small business like theirs can certainly be a challenge, as they're competing with big box stores. However, he says he loves every second of it as he gets to help people with common interests achieve their goals.
You know, this is kind of a grassroots business. You got salt of the earth people come in, want to take care of their animals, they want to plant a garden, and if I can help them do that and produce something, they can get an outcome out of it that they like. You know, people send us pictures of their garden, and that's great. People send us pictures of their, you know, a baby calf that was born. You just can't beat that, you know. Especially today's times, people want to produce their own. You know, the homesteads are making a comeback now, and they're smaller, of course, on scale nowadays, but people are having backyard flocks. You know, they've got 6 or 8 chickens, and they enjoy getting their eggs. Stuff like that, it's just fun to me. You know, I grew up in it, like I said before, and it just something I've always enjoyed, and I enjoy being able to help the people get what they need to you know, to have that sort of lifestyle.
Bramlett believes why his store and other smaller locally owned stores alike thrive is due to them having a lifetime of experience and knowledge that can help anyone that comes in their store.
One thing we get a lot is I've been to store X and they gave me this and it just didn't work. So they come here and we have the knowledge and the experience to say, that probably ain't gonna work, let's try this. And you know, we have the experience to provide the solutions that you need, and we care. You know, if you don't come back, then we don't make a living. You know, if you shop here, you're helping a family. If you shop at store X, Y, or Z, big box store, you know, it's hard to get the service and the care that you'll get when you're shopping at a smaller business.
Reporting in Dalton for the Farm Monitor, I'm John HOLCOMB.
Well, he is 94 years old and still works the farm on a regular basis. OLEN Hill of Douglas County, when the Farm Monitor continues.
Gusty winds are hampering firefighters' efforts to fight Georgia's largest wildfire on record.
The wildfire has burned 125 square miles, including 80,000 acres in the Okefenokee swamp.
It was under the recognition that this is a national wildlife refuge and it's a fire environment. Or it's not a matter of, will a fire come out? It's a matter of when is it going to come out? Because it's going to do what it's going to do. So we've just got to work with nature and deal with whatever it throws at us in that respect.
And we're here today taking a look at what we've been trying to achieve for decades here around the Okefenokee Swamp. We're collaborating with and under partnership with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Georgia Forestry Commission, and private landowners around the Okefenokee. And the purpose of it is to for maintenance of our swamp edge breaks.
It was a project after one of the short fire that we had here, and the idea was to put a break all the way around this refuge so we can keep the fire inside of the refuge and not get out on private property.
Anytime we have a fire, goal is a part of the team, and I encourage any landowner that's involved to get involved in those meetings too, because I'm not goal, the landowners are gold, and they need to hear what's going on.
We come up with ways to mitigate and try to work inside the swamp edge break and just working together. So that's what we got to do and continue to do in the future.
We've always enjoyed that great partnership, and we've had numerous projects that bring us together in the past, and this is an example of one of them. This particular project came along through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act bill.
We were contacted on this to make us aware that there's some federal dollars available for this. And this is kind of pre-planning for fire. We're bringing a lot of places back to bare dirt, so when we do have that fire, we'll be able to get in here and it'll allow us access, and then we can put secondary breaks on out.
So we're building on what our forefathers of the Greater Okefenokee Association of Landowners envisioned.
When fire comes out of the swamp, it can be a huge monster. And there's a lot of people that come here to fight fire that put their lives on the line to stop this fire from moving up on the hill. And the main thing we try to do is keep it as safe as possible. We
haven't had a major fire in the Okefenokee since 2017, but we know it's just a matter of time. As weather conditions change, rainfall doesn't occur as often, that we will have a fire in the Okefenokee that we'll have to manage for. Keeping these projects alive, keeping them going, working together, to be able to talk in advance of wildland fire, and then be able to actually showcase a project like this that we know is going to be beneficial for all federal agencies, state agencies, as well as the private landowners. It's just a win-win situation for all of us.
Bring up the subject of family and farming with Olin Hill, and more often than not, you'll get a smile as big as the moon. Bring up family and farming when Olin was a boy, you'll get that smile all right, but it may take him a while to collect himself.
That might be kind of hard. When I was a child coming up, we had to do everything with horses and by just handwork, you know. We'd get up of a morning and harness the horses up, you know, at daylight. And then we'd go on out and get cows and milk them, and then we'd go to the field.
So Beth, tell me, growing up, having Pop as your dad.
Oh, he was wonderful. He was the best. We had the best parents ever. Mother stayed home with us, and my dad was the one that was out working, providing for the family. I grew up with him having a garden, so that instilled in me. I also grew up knowing what hard work was, and you get up every day and you give a man more than what he's paying you for, because that's the principle of working with him. And they met our daily needs, but if we wanted extra, we'd have to go out and get a job and babysit or things like that to have the extras, but we never did without, ever.
Morals, values, and a work ethic that began on that Missouri farm nearly a century ago. A work ethic that Olin took with him to the Navy, where much of his time was spent working on a tugboat. Nowadays, despite the typical health ailments a person Olen's age experiences from time to time, there is pretty much nothing that will prevent Pop from working the farm and tending to the animals, even at the urging of his family, who admit they worry sometimes he does too much around the farm.
When I see him out there, I think, oh my gosh, I wish I could be, I hope I live as long as he does and am able to do what he does. And this past summer we used to raise hogs, and we've got out of that. So we had a hog shed that we decided that we would turn into an implement shed for the garden. So Andrew had the tractor pulling that round, and Pop was out there. So he didn't like the way it was, so we had to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it. And Pop was out there, Pop and me and Andrew when he could, but we were out there building the hog pen into the implement shed.
Obviously, it's something that you have a passion about because you're out there all the time. What is it that just drives you to get out there, Pop? What is it about agriculture that you love so much?
You can do what you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you ain't got somebody standing over telling you what to do besides your dad.
Still got that in the back of your head, don't you? Being yelled at on the farm, huh?
Right.
It's been said, if a wise old man ever gives you advice while peeling an apple with a pocket knife and eating pieces right off the blade, you should probably take it. Pop is both the blade and the apple, and his one piece of advice is a good one.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep your knife and your apple. And if you use the knife right, it ain't gonna hurt you.
I think one of the most important lessons he can give, number one, don't complain about your circumstances. Get up every day, pull yourself up, and get out there and deal with it. Life is not always fair, it's not always easy, but he always had the attitude that you get up, you do what you need to do for that day, and you get up, you go to bed and you get up the next day and you do it again.
In Douglas County, I'm Ray DeLessio.
Ray, thanks so much. Cross-pollination, germplasm research, boll dissection, why all of it's crucial to the future of cotton production here in Georgia. That is next when the Farm Monitor continues.
Hi, I'm Ryan Henderson. I'm a third-generation farmer. We farm corn, cotton, and peanuts, and my farm's name is Leland Farms. On our farm, all of our crops are 100% irrigated. With our irrigation, we try to save water as best we can and only use it when we need it. And I go through the University of Georgia recommendations. I also have a consultant who is checking it. The reason I love growing peanuts, I guess, is because I grew up with peanuts. They've always grown them in South Georgia. It's one crop that we can grow here that everybody else in the country can't grow. I guess what I love about farming is it's kind of like it's an honest living, hopefully. And it's kind of rewarding when you look back and see what you've done, when you finish up. We hope to be rewarded at the end, but I don't know. I guess you kind of look at how, you look at the big picture of who you feeding the world. We feed 75% of the world here in the U.S. So it's not always rewarding what you do. It's kind of hard, very hot. Of course, I don't mind that, but I guess it's kind of like my wife's a teacher, right? She's always said, if you don't have it in your heart to be a teacher, then you need to do something else because it is rough. And I said, I see farming the same way. If it ain't in your heart, you need to do something else. So you're either going to love it or you don't.
Finally this week, cotton research at UGA.
As told through the camera lens, courtesy of our friends at the Georgia Cotton Commission.
My name is Ping Chi. I'm the cotton breeder with the University of Georgia, located at the Tifton campus. So we're here at the Gibbs Farm where most of the research is being conducted. So the focus of our breeding program is to develop germplasm that's adapted to our Georgia environment. So one of the main focus of research is to working on improving fiber quality. In addition, the focus of our program is to develop germplasm that is resistant to a lot of the diseases that we have in our production area. So diseases such as nematode resistance, area mildew resistance, bacterial blight resistance, and also to the new virus that we have here that was discovered the last few years. Plant breeding is really a long-term project, from making the hybrid, making the crosses, to the point where we have germplasm, hybrid germplasm that we can evaluate will take anywhere from 6 to 10 years. We develop germplasm with traits that are important to Georgia, and then we will work with commercial company and bring these traits to the market. A very important component of my program, not just to do research, but also to train young scientists, graduate students that are going to be future scientists to continue the work that we're doing.
So I'm Dalton West. I'm working on my master's in Dr. Ping Chi's lab, and today we're making cross pollinations. So this is a variety that we're going to use for our crossing. So this is a flower from another variety, and we'll use it to cross-pollinate the emasculated flower. Tag this because in 50 days, when this produces a boll, we'll know that what the female is as well as the male. So hopefully in 8 to 10 years we'll have a new variety from this cross combination. And this is a boll from a successful pollination 7 to 10 days later.
My name is Samantha Wan, and I'm a grad student for Dr. Chi and his cotton breeding lab for the Institute of Plant Breeding, Genetics and Genomics at UGA. My primary research focuses on fiber quality improvement. One method we use to improve fiber quality is through species hybridization. The two species that we've hybridized are Gossypium hirsutum, which is upland cotton, and Gossypium barbadense, which is Pima cotton. We're hoping to get Pima cotton's superior fiber quality into upland cotton while keeping upland cotton's adaptability and yield. We collected some boll samples at the fields, and now we're back at the lab in order to dissect these boll samples to extract immature fiber from the bolls, and these immature fibers are going to tell us which specific genes make cotton fibers longer. So I'm preparing these tubes with liquid nitrogen in order to flash freeze some of the immature fibers, and now I'm dissecting immature boll samples. And then after flash freezing in liquid nitrogen, we'll store it in -80, and then later on we are going to separate the fibers and the seeds and perform RNA extraction on the fiber samples.
The way my breeding program benefits Georgia growers is by us developing germplasm that are important to Georgia production, but topics that are not covered by commercial breeding programs. So for example, the commercial breeding programs are interested in improving yield, but not necessarily all the diseases that are belt-wide related. So disease such as area mildew, for example, are more of a regionally issue. And those are the topics that we cover as a public research scientist, but not necessarily the commercial breeding program. Funding from the Cotton Commission is really important for the work that we're doing, because without your funding, we'll not be able to do the kind of long-term research that is really, really important to the longevity of cotton production here in Georgia.
Big thanks to the Georgia Cotton Commission for that, and thank you, as always, for spending time with us.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe and have a great week.